Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2018 Manager Mode. Now, in the Gaming Decathlon, it's been going on for a while, so it's week 41 of competition. However, this is the first episode in a brand new series and a brand new mode for F1 2018. So let's have a look and see what we're up against. There's career mode, Grand Prix, multiplayer, time trial, event, championships, back to career. There isn't officially a manager mode. But within career mode, and with a simple assignment of a few easy to follow rules, we find F1 2018 Manager Mode. I already created my driver, and now we're going to go right into team selection, and I'll explain the rules here in the next little bit. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you may have noticed that I have an F1 2018 series ongoing. It's a Road to Glory series with Williams Racing. They are listed as the bottom team. Next up from that list, though, is the Alfa Romeo Sauber F1 team. Also contained with that, within that team, of course, is Charles Leclerc, who is next year's Scuderia Ferrari driver alongside Sebastian Vettel. Vettel's current teammate Raikkonen is actually coming back to the team he started his career with, Sauber. But in the 2018 edition of F1, the game, Charles Leclerc is with that Sauber team, so I'll be driving alongside him. The sad thing is that means Marcus Ericsson is going to lose his seat. He's a good driver, so I'm sad for that, but that's the seat that I will be taking in this one. So their attitude preference is sportsmanship. I'll keep that in mind as things go along, and that's good for me. Team expectation is to score regular points, even though points have been hard to come by for a long time for this team until this year in real life. So again, sorry Marcus Ericsson, but Charles Leclerc will be my teammate for this one. And we go into the settings, and where we'll get into the manager mode for this. One shot qualifying is one of the key components of this. Race distance, full 100%. AI driver level. If you've seen my other series, I am building. It's growing. I started at a 70 mid-late season 1. I'm up to an 86 on AI difficulty level. Here, we're going to set it, and at least for the time being, keep it at 80, at least through this first season. Which is going to make it challenging for me, but not impossible to do things. And again, you'll see how this is all going to work. But the key thing, 100% race, one-shot qualifying. Practice is set up as full practice automatically. I cannot change that. That's based on the race distance. All right, gameplay settings, flashbacks, off entirely. Parc Fermé is on. Vehicle damage is full. Safety cars are on. Race starts manual. Not that that's going to matter in this one. And on to assist. I'll do the standard for the way I play this game, which will be custom. Let's see, braking assist. Just enough to help with the Oh, that's off. Anti-lock brakes are on, though. Traction control is medium. Racing line, corners only. Gearbox manual, pit assist off, pit release off, and ERS is manual. Alright, so we're ready to advance into it, and we're going to head straight towards Australia. So here's the kicker. Here's how this is going to work. There is no full manager mode. You cannot just sit back and manage your team through a career. I've tried it. It will get you fired.
Thanks for coming by. I'm sure you're very anxious to get out on track. It's taken a lot of effort to get to F1. Congratulations. But the real work starts now. This is...
Claire, motorsports journalist. Nice to meet you. You'll be seeing quite a lot of me throughout the season. So, you had a pretty impressive junior career. How are you feeling about your move into F1? Do you think you have what it takes?
Let's save the questions for a proper interview, shall we? I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about once there's been some action on track. I think we could fit you in after FP1 if you're free.
That works for me. I'll grab you the second you finish on the track.
Remember, the relationship you have with the team can be affected by what you say to the media, so be careful. Anyway, it's time to catch up with Carl. He's waiting for you in the data center. Good luck out there today.
Alright, continuing on in between cutscenes here.
Welcome to the data center. Here, we've got access to all kinds of information, including car telemetry, weather, lap times, tire wear, the list goes on. Plus, we've got a direct link back to the factory, so we're in constant communication with the team there. We need you to regularly feedback about areas of the car that are lacking and help us direct our resources in the most productive way. More effort here equals a quicker car, so it's well worth the effort. Good luck this season. Oh, and make us all look good, okay?
The look good part is tricky for this gameplay. Alright, so...
Welcome to your new team. Sauber is the kind of team that other privateers aspire to be. No matter the challenges they face, they rise to the occasion and make it out the other side. They need someone who can be consistent, resilient, and determined. And there's no doubt in my mind that you can give them those qualities.
Alright. With cutscenes finally over. Continuing on here. So, there is no full way to go completely automated manager mode. It will get you fired. You can get fired in this game. It could actually take just a handful of races till it happens. And if you have zero participation, you will get fired. If you look at the screen now, it won't let me skip out of practice one until after this first race. Well, still looking at the screen, right? I have 3 practice sessions, qualifying, and the race. That's what keeps the game moving forward. Now, after this first race, this first practice session, at your very first race, where it's kind of got a little tutorial type thing going and you've got your first interview with Claire, I can't skip past this one. I have to enter P1, FP1. But once I get past that, you can start skipping sessions when you don't want to participate in them. Now, it's bad for your health, it's bad for your career, it can lead to you getting fired. However, I found a way to make this work where I have just enough individual participation to just about keep your drive. And just about help develop the team, gather some R&D points, and simulate the rest. So it's high-paced, it's fast-paced. We're going to get through a lot of races each and every episode, meaning this is all about a 10-year career trying to build, because I'm going to come nowhere near the type of R&D points that a typical career will consist of. All right, we've got to jump into free practice 1, and in that, we'll get to what that minor, limited participation consists of. So let's head down to the track.
Welcome to our viewers from around the globe. You join us just as today's practice session for the Australian Grand Prix is about to start. Welcome then to all our viewers and of course to Anthony Davidson as well. Now Ant, I wanted to ask you, obviously there's a lot of hard work involved in these sessions, a lot of simulations as well. Is this something the drivers enjoy, or is it just a routine that becomes a chore?
There's nothing routine about driving a Formula 1 car, I can tell you that. 300 kilometers per hour down the straights, 4G through the corners. It's hard to ignore those forces acting on your body. It's lap after lap of hard, exhausting work. You always enjoy driving these cars. It's a real privilege. Although I must say, if you're having a day where you can't get the car to do what you want and it's generally underperforming, then it's a lot harder to stay motivated. But never a chore, no. Even if you're having a tough start to the weekend, at this point you know that if you work hard at it, there's still an opportunity to turn things around.
Alright, as I jump over to the session info, this is your practice program if you've never seen the game before. There are 6 different practice programs that you run, and then you also have a list of team objectives that go along. If you complete these programs, you get resource points, research and development. That is how you develop the car.
Make sure to run some of our practice programs. They don't all need to be done in one session, but there's valuable data there to help race strategy and car development.
Yes, thank you. Alright, here's the limitations to this series, this manager mode. Like I said, it's going to be a limited participation, and it's bang, bang, bang coming at you. So I'm not going to do any driving out laps. It's all flying laps only, and then right back to the garage. And I will not be completing full practice programs, which means I'm limiting those R&D points. My rule, 3 laps. 3 flying laps. Period. The end. 3 flying laps in FP1, and then I am going straight to qualifying from there. And you already saw in the setup, it's one-shot qualifying, meaning everybody runs 1 lap. I'll run that 1 lap, and then we'll head straight to the race. Now, I've got 3 laps to do. Let's go ahead and do it real quick here so that we can get through it. You came to watch some racing, so let's get to it. So, I get to choose what I do for those 3 flying laps, but for instance, if I did race strategy, in order to get optimal, that takes 3 flying laps. So I'm definitely not going to be doing race strategy. I will be going for something that involves a single time. I'm going to start with track acclimatization.
As it's the first time the car has run since winter testing.
Straight to flying lap.
The more consistent mileage you can get in these sessions, the happier we'll be.
Okay, again, AI difficulty is set on 80, so it's not going to be easy. This requires me to be somewhat familiar with these tracks, and I'm going to get what I get out of them, which I have not driven the Alfa Romeo Sauber in F1 2018 yet. In F1 2017, it was Alfa Romeo Sauber that I ran in my own career. That was before I brought it to the channel. Oh, I missed. I already missed that first corner. That's going to hurt my score. I missed that by a couple inches. I was braking a little late there. Oh! Tight to the curbing, and that counted as a miss. I'm going to miss that one as well. Alright, well, I stand little chance of getting even green here on this first lap as I'm getting the hang of this car and how it drives. It feels heavy, but it handles relatively well. But it feels heavy, which means I'm having to get on the brakes a little earlier, and that's throwing off. Okay, well, I got at least 1 team objective there. That's 5 points that I've now amassed. By the way, I am on a gamepad. Ooh, just barely. Managed to keep that one green. Alright, things are going a bit better now. I'm starting to get the hang of this car.
some more time to be found in these turns.
Okay. Was that even green? Did I get green? Alright, well, we head back to the garage. We'll see. I was either 10 points over or 10 points under. Oh, I failed! I was 10 points under! Oh! Okay, so Sector 1, I completely blew it. I missed the apex on turn 1, and then on turn 3, I hit the apex so hard that I was too far to the inside. You want to grab curbing on turn 3, but it wasn't happy that I grabbed the curb there on turn 3. So those first 2 failed turns was enough. I had a decent amount of purple sectors for not running any laps, not running an out lap, not being on the track in this car before. That was far from the worst lap that it could have been. I know it wasn't a very good lap, and it showed. I missed it by 10 points. That's one flying lap. That counts. Now, I could go out there and run that again as a second flying lap if I so choose and aim for purple. Or I could move on to something else like tire management, fuel management, or ERS management. And I might go back to it. For now, I'm going to run to fuel management for my second flying lap. So not a good start here, as I just missed getting green. And it's going to be hard for me to get very many optimals without the prep. So I'm going to get a lot of just you did okay, you got green. Whew. A little off on the pace to start here. This is going to slow down the very beginning of my first lap.
Fuel management here, so try to lift and coast going into the corners. Don't be too aggressive on the power, but remember, you still have to beat the minimum lap time.
Already, I'm down on time and down on management. There's one spot where I can make up some time. Yes, full on through there, but again... Alright, I'm up on time now. I've got to get at least into the green here in the next little bit. By the way, Australia is one of the tracks that I'm not terribly good at. I'm barely up on time. I'm way down on the fuel management side of it, so this is not good here so far. I'm going to have a hard time getting even green. Okay, well that was a really good sector. Now I should be well up on time, but I'm not. I'm still barely up on time. And it just seemed to be getting worse and worse here, as every time I'm in the gas, I'm not gonna get this one either. I'm gonna have 2 flying laps and no completed R&D program. Lifting and coasting in a few areas. You can see just on the gas, I'm automatically dropping further and further into the red, and that's lap number 2. And double failures. The time was good enough, and honestly, that should have been in the green. So something's going on with this car that it's really bad on fuel management.
Our fastest lap is a 1 minute 29.0.
Because you should be able to get in the green with limited amounts of lift and coast. And I had some lifting and coasting in 3 or 4 corners there. You can see from the track map that there is definitely a little bit of lifting and coasting, especially the last 3 corners, especially. Boy, oh boy, I'm not gaining. I've got 10 points so far. Alright, well I only have 1 hot lap left to do. Either it's going to be ERS or back to the track acclimatization to try that again, and I'll go ahead and go back to this trusted one. I was only 10 points short, so we're going to go in there again and try to hit the track acclimatization for this final lap. And this is all I'm going to get for this race before I go straight into qualifying.
Right, try to nail as many corner gates as you can. The faster you get through each corner, the higher the score. You'll need to deploy your DRS in the DRS zone as well.
Alright, here we go. Last chance to get some R&D points. Alright, already a much better start. As it was these two corners that I ran into problems last time, so you could already tell that I'm getting a feel for the car here. And even the track again. I had to get off the gas there where normally I'm full out through there. Oh, no. Ah, I missed one. Well, not going to have purple, but I should still be able to manage green easily enough. Alright, that time easily into the green. 15 short of purple. That one corner that I missed is what did it. But that's 3 flying laps, so that's all I get. So I return to the garage, and that's going to wrap up practice for the Australian race. So you could see just how many points I'm leaving on the table. Now, in terms of actual practice time, if I'm doing a full career mode, I've got 68 minutes left in this session. And then I have 2 more sessions after that. I have plenty of time to go back and run these again and again. For example, the track acclimatization that I just ran a second time, I missed one corner. I was only 15 points.
To run the qualifying sim program. Try to run it before the end of FP3 if you can.
I was only 15 points short. And that turn 6, where I missed the gate, that was the difference right there. It's a momentum killer. I got mostly purple. There was only a few green sectors in there. So I had a really good lap, minus a single spot. So I would easily be able to go back out and get purple on that. And that's another 50 points. So theoretically, I could easily pick up 325 points. I'm coming out of this one with 60. So this manager mode is going to be a lot more about how quick can I pick it up and be successful and get limited R&D points, which means it's going to take a lot more than 1 or 2 seasons to pick up a team out of the bottom like Sauber. And with that, we're going to go to the end of the session, so I'm going to skip straight to qualifying. It's going to give me an interview, though, with Claire as I wrap this up.
Quick look at the classification at the end of the session then. Here are your top 3. Vettel, Hamilton,
Good time
and
for
Daniel Ricciardo.
Leclerc there.
Practice.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
I wouldn't say that was a
It's
good
been a
day.
lot of hard work, but here you are making your debut in Formula One. You must be thrilled.
That doesn't stop now. Good. Hard work doesn't stop.
So how are you finding things at the team? Are you settling in?
So much to learn.
What are you expecting out of this season? Are you just aiming to find your feet in Formula One,
And
or
Sauber put a lot of faith in me.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Sorry, I kind of flew through there. This playthrough is not going to be much about those interviews. We won't skip through them, of course, because it does affect your rep. Alright, so you can see just how much is left on the table. I pulled out 115 points is all. Now, most races I'll get more than that. especially if I'm successful on all 3 practice programs. Even if I don't manage to go purple, that was pretty poor. But that's the first stipulation. So practice, 3 flying laps is all I get. Total, period. That hurt my reputation because it was poor. So that's why I'm saying if you don't participate, if you go straight manager, you will get fired. And I've got to watch that reputation with the team. I didn't build towards veteran at all. So no changes there. And now I'm on to qualifying. Like I said, it's going to be 1-shot qualifying. I get 1 lap. Okay, it looks like it is dry. That's good. And we're going to advance. I'm going to wait till after this first race to get into the R&D. Even though I do have points on the table. And I am leaving them behind a little bit. So.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
Alright, so it's one lap only. 1-shot qualifying. You actually get a ghost of the pole sitter's time, or at least whoever was the fastest through each sector. They can be overcome by others. Actually helps a little bit. Gives you something to chase. Gives you a carrot. But with that, we're going to go to track. And there you go. There's the pace of the Ferrari starting to pull away from me. So it's Vettel who's out front at the moment. But I'm close in there. Little oversteer there, but easily corrected. And so far, got a decent time going, but now, here as we get into this straight, Vettel pulls away more and more, so that's going to separate the big 6 a bit. A little wide through the turn there, allows them to pull a little further away from me now. And they pull away some more, so I'm definitely not looking at a best of the rest kind of time here either. It's an okay time, but it's not a great time by any means. I'm going to be near the back.
Sorry about that. Just wasn't our day.
19th. Not last, but close to it.
The grid is all set then for the race tomorrow. But before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top 3, who are Vettel, Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the Grand Prix itself gets underway.
Ferrari's on top. Ricciardo, not a very good qualifying session, down in P8. Leclerc with a good job, up in P12. And I split the Williams. I'm behind Lance Stroll by 1/100th of a second. So not a good lap, a second off the pace of my teammate. I definitely left some time out there on a couple of corners. And then our pace clearly was not matching even when I was optimal through corners. I was still, every time we hit a straight, you could see Vettel pulling away further and further. So we just have a power deficit. That is part of what I'm dealing with here. All right. Now, that's it for my direct participation. The races, that part is where we truly get into a manager mode. I don't control that outcome. It's going to be simulated. Now, I could have simulated qualifying, but if I do that, it means that every single time I would start in last place. I would have no time in skipping over that. Now, these rivalries are going to be a big key to keeping my job. Also, you can see that I do pick up some R&D points here, another 90, despite the poor performance. And reputation not hurt, that's good. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that because
Obviously,
I could be...
a better session, but these things happen from time to time. Try to make up for it in the race.
I could be near the back of the grid again and again and again. Now, I'm going to head into the workstation before I simulate this race. And there you go. You can see my X button on my gamepad here will allow me to simulate the race instead of advancing into the session. This is what's going to allow this series to have a lot of races contained within each episode. It's going a little slower for this first one.
Here you can see the pertinent details about your current contract.
Yes.
On one side are the objectives and bonuses that we've
Okay,
negotiated
Emma,
with
thank you. Thank you.
On the other is information
Right.
regarding
We're going to
what
take a
you
look
receive throughout the
at
paddock, your
R&D
reputation
because
with
this
fans,
is
and your
where
overall
it's going to
value,
need to be.
which is a combination of these
Now,
elements.
durability is not something I'm going to have to worry much about as I simulate through and as I'm getting very, very little time in the car in the practice sessions. So durability should be pretty good throughout the year, well ahead of other cars on that, as I'm just not putting the kind of laps in that anyone else is. So it's really going to come down to what can I do to this car to make it better. And you can see that the aero department is where we are truly lacking. So I'm going to start straight away in the aero department and do what I can. And right off the bat, we have some large upgrades. And do I want downforce, front or rear? Well, the front's going to help me get through those turns a bit better. And I definitely felt how weak we were in that. So we're going to start right away. I do have a 37.5% chance of failure on this major development piece, as I've done no upgrades to the factory. I certainly want to do those upgrades to the factory, and in my career mode, the regular career mode, I aim for the factory upgrades first, playing the long game in that matter, so that everything else comes along easier. Here, if I wait, I'm bound to get fired. We are last in aerodynamics, and I'm not participating in the race itself. I'm a rookie. I'm going to have a low time. I could finish in dead last. I'll be lucky to be above that point. So if I hope to keep my job, I've got to do some upgrades to the car to keep the car moving along, and then negotiate contracts that I can manage. And you can see I'm going to miss a lot of R&D points, so it's going to be hard to get this car competitive. But there's the first upgrade to the car. It's going to take 3 weeks, and let's get to the race session. Yes, I am simulating.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Sebastian Vettel takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I think I'm going to give it to Daniel Ricciardo. He's come through the field so well today, you know. Well deserved.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Ferrari moved to the top of the table. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
Alright, so good race for Red Bull as they go from 5th and 8th on the grid up to 2nd and 4th. Vettel wins from the pole. Hamilton stays in the position he started in, getting on the podium in 3rd. Bottas down to 5th, and Raikkonen, poor job there to be last of the top tier. Hülkenberg gets best of the rest. Alonso, who is massively OP'd in this game, as is the car, but there has been an update recently that nerfed the car a little bit. It's still way too much, but Alonso up there in P8. my teammate Leclerc, decent performance there, finishing in P14. And there you can see I'm right near the back. My best time was actually the slowest on the grid at a 1:30.063. So you can see that it definitely treats me as a rookie, as I was a second slower than Leclerc. Finishing in P19, at least I was able to stay ahead of Sorokin. But I have to keep this car improving if I am to outdo the Williams and the Toro Rossos, who I will regularly be competing in the back of the grid, at least in this first season. The rivalry is something I'm going to need to keep a close eye on. As you can see, I'm already 3 points down on Leclerc, and losing that respect will hurt. So you could probably guess who my first target will be on rivalry, based on where the cars are on the grid. And again, I only get 75 points for the race, so R&D at just 842, meaning for that whole first race I picked up 342 R&D points. That's an awful race weekend, and that's what's going to make this an interesting game mode. Team reputation, luckily not hurt. I do inch my way towards veteran, which will help improve my lap times, presumably. I don't know quite how F1, how Codemasters have set that up when you simulate races, as there is no information on it, but I would assume that that rookie versus veteran time is going to affect my lap times based on the car performance.
Commiserations on that result. It's been a tough weekend. We've received invitations to new
I will not be
events.
doing
You'll be able to
historic
choose
events,
whether
so
or
we're
not
going to skip straight to next weekend. And we head to Bahrain. Alright, so that is the basic function. I have a little bit of time left, and I'm going to get through one more race here in this first episode, now at regular pace. So we're going to head straight into FP1. I have 842 points. There's nothing I can do because I need to get those aero upgrades going, and the next one also costs 1,000. Weekend preview. Looks like it's going to be dry for qualifying and the race, and we're going to head into FP1.
Welcome to the deserts of Bahrain, where the Formula One circus has rolled into town. We're expecting the cars to appear out on track shortly to start today's practice session. An opportunity here then for the drivers to learn the track and learn the car, and of course work out all the little kinks that show up when the teams put these cars together at the circuit. Anthony Davidson, this is all very familiar to you, of course, so why don't you give us an idea as to what the drivers will be getting up to in these sessions?
I'd say the first responsibility for drivers during pre-practice is in gathering data for correlation purposes, which allows the engineers to match real-life data against the simulation. Secondly, the driver then needs to dial themselves into a circuit that they may not have driven around for a full year, which is a fact that's often overlooked. And then you finally focus on the details of car setup and the tyre wear. It's critical to have a good relationship with your engineer here so they can make the right adjustments at the right time to the car that ultimately bring out the performance you're looking for.
Alright, 3 flying laps. I will always start with the track acclimatization and straight into that flying lap. So let's get to it. Alright, we're underway in Bahrain, and you can see just how fast it's going to keep the series moving by making these switches. Whoa! Oh! Massive... I'm still fighting it. Massive oversteer there. And then that one was all me. So my chances of a green lap here are totally ruined. First with that understeer, and then I lost focus after that. I can afford one. I can't really afford two. I'm going to have almost all purples just to get a pass here. And so far so good. It's been all purples besides the 2 reds that I received. So I still have a chance here to get green. Let's see. 325 is the score that I need. That's a green. There's another purple. Got the oversteer again there. I'm only 5 points short now. 5 points is all I need here. And there it is. Okay, I still managed to get green. Definitely not getting purple with those 2 reds, but at least I passed the program. Alright, well there's one. It's at least a pass. I did leave 50 points out there, but at least I got that much. Alright, so instead of trying to redo and get purple, which only gains me additional 50 points, I'm definitely not going to redo a track acclimatization. So I'm going to go right on to fuel management for my second flying lap here in Bahrain. Hopefully I do not suffer the oversteer issues. Again, look at the car. Look how I'm already drifting into the red. Just driving. So this car is really bad on fuel management. And it's going to be a really hard one. So I might want to avoid fuel management here in the future. Because it's going to require me to do a ton of lifting and coasting. Just to keep it green. Alright. Temporarily I'm in the green, but you can see I get on the gas and it immediately starts drifting back. Just look at that. Go off like that. That's so bad. I mean, even with the lifting and coasting, as much as I'm doing, I should be closing in on the higher end of green right now in a normal car. I got off the gas there and still it was going down. Trying to shift a little earlier. Because I'm barely on green right now. Let off a little bit just to keep it. Alright, we got green. But definitely the Sauber is really bad on fuel. Really bad. That's one that I can normally get purple pretty easily on. Alright, one more flying lap. We're going to try the ERS management.
This is the ERS management test. Hit the target time whilst managing your battery charge. The more efficiently you use energy throughout the lap, the higher you will score. Remember that you can change your ERS deployment settings via the MFD.
Alright, we do want to make up some time here. Then we'll turn it off and get that up towards purple. Turn it on a little bit here. It'll still work its way up towards purple. Alright, so I'm well into purple and 7/10 up on the lap time, so I should be able to get optimal here pretty easily. There's no reason for me to either turn up the mode or... Woo! No, 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 no. Uh-oh. Going into overtake mode. I'm 8/10 down. Now I'm not going to make it. I caught curbing. I'm going to fail the lap. No! I am. I'm failing the lap. Ah, are you kidding me? I was 7/10 of a second up. That's it. No more flying laps. See, this would have been so easy to get purple on, and I messed it up. I just caught a little bit of curbing. Just a little. And instantly spun out. I saved it, but
so far our fastest
I lost a second.
1:34.8.
Second and a half. That would have been 80 points right there. I just lost 80 points because I would have gotten 30 for the green and 50 for the purple. So I just cost myself 80 points. Ah. Alright, well, we move on to qualifying. That's 3 flying laps.
Cars are now over the line. Your top 3 again are Vettel, Verstappen.
Not worried about those practice times, especially as I'm not running a qualifying sim on that. Ah, what a disaster. 80 points down the chute. That is 1,000 now. So before I jump into the qualifying, I am going to get the next upgrade on the go on Aero. This is the department where we are desperate for it. Hopefully one or both. Oh, department capacity. Okay, I forgot about that. Maybe... do a minor powertrain upgrade. Do I want to even be bold and go for more here in the chassis and get one in every department? Let's do it. Alright, well there go my points. They're now ready to go, and I'm going to need a couple weeks before, and at the rate that I earn points, about 500, 600, 800 a week, it'll take me that couple weeks to get the next one. But I got a few upgrades on the go now. Hopefully I don't see any failures, but over time I will see plenty of them. And with that, we head into qualifying. I am out of time for this episode, but I'll do my one-shot qualifying. We'll simulate that race, and we'll wrap it up there. In a typical episode, I think I should be able to get about 4 races in for each episode.
We hope you're ready as qualifying is about to begin here in Bahrain. Looking at this field today, Ant, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance? Maybe run the harder of the available compounds and save some of the grippy tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that. And even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
Alright, so we're going to head out on the Super Softs. I have not run in the night because I was not active in free practice 2, so the conditions could be a little bit different here. And look at that. Right off the bat, Bottas is pulling away from me just as I have that power deficit. Little too much curb there, gave me a little oversteer. I lose a little bit of time. It's now Hamilton who's fastest at the moment. The carrot that we chase. Whoa! I've hit that curb so many times and never had that kind of slippage like I did there, even in the wet. Still making good time here though. It's now Vettel on top. But here again, that power deficit, I slide further and further back. Little understeer through there that caused me to not be able to really get on it until later. So I lost a little more time in there, and now I drift further back. So that was not a terribly good sector for me, and that's going to push me towards the back of the grid. And this is going to put me right near the back. Vettel takes over late in Sector 3. 14th. Okay, 14th. Not too bad, not too bad. Decent starting position.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are Vettel, Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, it's goodbye.
It's fitting that the top 3 were the 3 that we saw as the carrot at one point. It was first Bottas, then Hamilton, and then Vettel late overtaking him. Raikkonen is P4, and your usual suspects round out the top 6 with the Renault as best of the rest. Leclerc with a good time coming in P11, and myself also a good time, just a 10th, just under a 10th behind Leclerc in P14. And the Williams of Stroll is a little bit higher in 17, Gasly a little above, and it's Van Dorn right there in the back. That is a typical back of the grid, and there's Alonso down in P15. That's more realistic than what I've seen out of this game so far when it comes to the McLaren. Now, a good qualifying position does not amount to a good race result, as I'm still seen as that rookie. So my lofty P14 right now is likely to drop a bit further back with the race itself. But result versus car performance, that's some bonus points for me there. And we're up to 221. And the team rep builds a little bit, so that qualifying helps with that.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
All right, and we're going to simulate that session, and we'll see where we end up. I'm hoping for at least P17. Leclerc gets P14.
Here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Sebastian Vettel, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Fernando Alonso. Wherever he is, whatever team he's in, when is he not just brilliant? He'll give you a performance every time, just like he's done today.
On to the constructors then. Ferrari extend their lead at the top of the championship. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
Alright, so Bottas picks up the win. Vettel second, Raikkonen third, Verstappen, Hamilton, Ricciardo. Usual suspects at the top, with Hamilton all the way down in P5. Magnussen from P12 up to best of the rest in P7. Alonso from last to 8th. Leclerc comes in P14, and then there you go. Well, I'm drifting back, still not there. P18, only ahead of the Williams, but at least the team expectation right now is P18. So that's about the best that I could hope for, and I will definitely be setting up a rivalry against either Sorokin or Stroll. And Leclerc is going to be really, really tough to beat, as Leclerc is clearly an advanced driver in this, who, like Alonso, is OP compared to their teammate. Rightfully so. He's clearly a better driver than Van Dorn. A lot of people consider him one of the greats. I didn't grow up in the era watching his heyday, so all I've seen is his last handful of years, where he's never looked quite like that, but clearly been a good driver, just maybe not to the level that a lot of his fans think of him. But there you go, P18. That's 2 races in the books. I will typically get about 4 per episode is my expectation. Be sure to check out episode number 2, as I am posting these first 2 episodes back to back here, and then every week there will be a new episode. Now, in the next episode, I'll go ahead and explain the scoring piece, so be sure to check that out to see how the Gaming Decathlon works with this F1 Manager mode. But that's going to do it for this brand new episode. First episode in this new series, F1 2018 Manager Mode. Be sure to stick with it, check it out, hit that like button, hit subscribe so you can get more content as we go through, and check out some of my other series as well. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. I'm aiming for the best of the best, so if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.